Hi, good evening, and the speaker today, Professor Alla Mazina from Russia. I know you are there, and as usual, we are picking up the numbers. We got more than 226 live in Zoom, and if you go to our social media, there should be more than 150 people who are watching us online. So I'm really proud and honored to have you all, like the panelists and also the attendees for this thing and encouraging us throughout this particular event. We are into the fifth day of our program. Yesterday was a nice presentation done by Professor 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓵, and the previous day it was Dr. Nina. So we are picking up, we are moving into different topics, and today it will be a completely different topic on education, and also what are the possibilities and options available with international collaboration, especially to improve the education system in any country. So that is what we are going to discuss today. We have our special guest today, Professor Alla Mazina. We are very as usual, we are good friends, but we need to have a proper formal introduction about Alla. But before that, I'm always reiterating this particular point. This whole thing, the meetup or whole gathering was created thanks to Erasmus Plus project, EU-funded project, that is 𝓵. So our project leader is going to address you tomorrow, but all these people, Dr. 𝓷𝓸𝓻𝓃, Professor 𝓷𝓸𝓻𝓃, Nina, and all these people are from the same group, same team, same family, 𝓵 family. So I think we should give a formal introduction about the 𝓵 project. So we will listen to what is 𝓵 case.
Good evening, everyone.
Every year, thousands of projects are submitted by organizations across Europe in order to receive financial support from the Erasmus program. For this reason, the Commission has set up a transparent evaluation process that aims at providing grants for the best projects. Project 𝓵 is one of the co-funded programs by the Erasmus+. Word 𝓵 stands for Integrating Education with Consumer Behavior Relevant to Energy Efficiency and Climate Change at the universities of Russia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. This project, designed after identifying the vital importance of the social and economic development of Russia, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. These regions distinguish education in engineering and engineering trends. We are a team that represents 14 universities from 7 countries, grouped as 4 program countries and 10 partner countries. We as a team ensure a proper geographical and knowledge balance, also the diversity, because the built environment practices and necessary solutions differ from region to region. The universities of the partner countries are willing to introduce new adapted MOOCs to the different cycles of the built environment and related study programs. All partner universities will participate in the upgrading of BSc, MSc and PhD study programs. The main objective of Project 𝓵 is to upgrade the curricula with 16 new harmonized, multidisciplinary, adaptive MOOC modules on environmental protection technology in Russia, Sri Lankan and Bangladesh universities. It is to increase their capacity to continually modernize and enhance the quality and relevance of education of students to the global market. Also, the project will spread and promote awareness in the partner countries related to the European Union policies and best practices of energy efficiency and climate change approach towards environmental and energy 2020 targets. Project 𝓵 will consolidate a variety of diverse activities in education quality improvement by delivering extensive distance education programs, and a capacity building framework. It will establish an associated network of experts and institutions to continue the knowledge sharing among partner universities.
Well, let me quote Professor Delanty's speech yesterday. She was talking about the coherence. The more the value we can add to the world. So you can easily understand what is the beauty of this particular coherence. I mean, working in a team, working together than working in our own silos. The best example is BEC. So we started working from different universities, different countries, but finally the end product is one like this. I mean, you have a lot of similar activities, similar things happening everywhere. So this is one of them, and you can see by understanding what we are doing in this particular workshop on climate change and energy efficiency, you can understand what is the value of BEC and also what is the value of being coherent, or rather working in a team. So I think without wasting much time, we are picking up the numbers again. I mean, I'm sorry, we have limitations in Zoom, connecting into the Zoom. So anybody who feel like they'll not be able to join with the Zoom platform, please share our Facebook and the YouTube link, so they will be able to join there and watch the program live. And unfortunately, they'll not be able to have a sort of a live discussion with the panelists. But they can always watch what is happening in the workshop live. And so without wasting much time, I invite 𝓷𝓸𝓻𝓲𝓷𝓰, my BEC team partner, to give the formal introduction to Dr. Alla, even though we know each other. 𝓷𝓸𝓻, it's up to you.
Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for the day, Dr. Alla Mazina. She is the Deputy Head of the International Education Office of Peter the Great, St. Petersburg Polytechnic University, Russia. Her extensive academic records includes about 30 years of experience in higher education, with 15 years as a senior lecturer in control theory and automation. Further, she has more than 15 years of experience as a manager of education in the field of quality assessment, internationalization of education, and professional competencies development. Her impressive resumes includes more than 10 years of experience as a university coordinator of numerous international educational projects in the frame of different EU programs, such as Tempus, Youth, Erasmus+, to name a few. Moreover, she is also a staff member of UNESCO Chair Management of Education, Quality for Sustainable Development. Her field of interest include development and implementation of international educational programs, including joint and double degree programs, LLL programs, professional competencies, development and assessment. We warmly welcome you, Dr. Alla Mazina. It's over to you, sir.
Thanks, 𝓷𝓸𝓻. I mean, I'm very sure today's topic will be slightly different to what we discussed within the last 4 days. The reason behind this particular change, I need to explain that as well, because I mean, we are working together, Morotai University, we have 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓻 University with this project, and we have Colombo University with the project, and there are a lot of other private and state universities in the country. So I personally feel, I'm very sure my partners are also the same. So I think we need to share this particular knowledge, how to engage on these collaborations, how we can share our experiences, how can we join with these sort of projects, and at least how we can try applying and getting more these sort of grants to Sri Lanka and enhance our education system. So we all know about the online education thanks to COVID. I mean, that is another advantage of COVID pandemic, which was basically starting from 2019. But there are a lot of pros and cons in this online education, especially in Sri Lanka. I'm not really comparing that with other countries, because they were familiar with this particular online education. Today morning, Professor 𝓚 𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓃, I'm very sure Sri Lanka knows about this particular giant character in Sri Lanka. He was the person who established this vocational education and distance education in the country. But unfortunately, there are a lot of dilutions in these facts. He was talking about the importance of establishing this open university concept where people will be able to stay distant and get the education. So, and he said when he was introducing this particular phenomenon in Sri Lanka, everybody, many people, even including my university people, they were basically laughing to Professor Dayantha on what he was trying to do. But today, everybody talking about the online education. But sadly, before going to the sad end, online education, especially thanks to Zoom, there are a lot of plus points. Like we take this particular workshop. I mean, even Dylan was talking about having a workshop online. What are the advantages of having a workshop online? How much people we can gather together, and how easy for us to share our experience. That is one. I mean, that is the good of having Zoom. But unfortunately, I need to tell this as a lecturer from a technical university, because Zoom has, in a different way, has killed the value of education. One side we can get the knowledge through these workshops, but unfortunately, due to Zoom, especially at the school level and the university level, I personally feel we are losing the real strength of real essence of education. So Allah and many other developed countries or developing countries who practice this online education and dissemination through online, I think she has a great experience, and I'm very sure she will share that particular experience with us. So we will have a fruitful discussion after the presentation. Allah, over to you. You can the floor is for you, and you can take over from this point.
Thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, I'm happy to be here, happy to see all of you, and we'll try to share my screen for the beginning. Hope you see it.
Yes, Allah, we can hear and we can see the screen as well.
Nice. So, you know, in the beginning, I think my presentation will be original, first of all, because I'm the only speaker that is not really professional in climate change or civil engineering or even energy efficiency. I am normally a doctor of science in automation technology, control systems, and the easiest way was to present some technology control systems, for example, to keep the energy, to make it more efficient, to optimize using, etc., etc. But finally, I decided that it is much important to speak about education, especially because we are in the prime of international project. It is educational project where we are all together, and it is about online education. So my presentation will consist of 3 parts. I will say from the beginning. It is 26 slides, so I hope to be in the time framework. And 3 parts. It is why we are speaking about climate change and energy efficiency. Why the education is so important, and what we can do to develop the educational programs or courses in these fields. And moreover, which soft skills our students really need to transform our tomorrow and to change our future. So I am going to begin a little bit from far. As Rangika said, we are now in the online meeting, so I just show some pictures. I am speaking from St. Petersburg. It is, I think, biggest north city in the world with 5 million populations. It is a unique city because it is situated on 101 islands. The city is quite nice in the summer, but it is quite nice not very often because the climate is raining and enough cold. And there are a lot of people who are very optimistic about climate change, because if the temperature will be higher, in fact, our city maybe will be more comfortable for the life because of the sea, because of the lakes. And if now we are swimming during only 1 month, we will be happy to do it longer. But in the same time, there are a lot of scientists who say that climate change, it is not so good. And in fact, if the temperature will rise, the sea level will rise also. So on 2 pictures, you have the prognostic of some group of scientists. what will be with our world in 5,000 years if we will continue on the same level of rising of temperature per year. And so it is a little bit sad, but for example, St. Petersburg, and in fact a lot of other cities, will be just under the water. We have time, 5,000 years, and we don't know if it is a real situation or it is just a fantasy. Maybe there are some human mistakes in the research. But in any case, in the same time, we know that climate change, it is not something new. Nina Danilina was speaking about it. And 4,000 years ago on the territory of the Baltic Sea was still some glaciers, 1 kilometer of glacier. And so 4,000 years ago was formed our region, but seems 5,000 years after, it will be under the sea. And it is not the good scenario. So what to do and why it is happening? 𝓷𝓸𝓻𝓲𝓷𝓰 was speaking yesterday about greenhouse effect that is responsible for the heating of our planet. Some part of this effect is linked to the natural greenhouse gases, like, for example, water vapor, but some others are linked to the human activities, and it is these others that are the problem actually, and it is why we are speaking about human activities that make a problem to our planet. So if we look which activities are the most dangerous, we will say, for our planet, we see that the wide range of sectors and processes contribute to the global emission of the gases. This means there is no any single or simple solution to stop the climate change and to reach net zero emission. In any case, if we look on the picture, the biggest problem it is the energy, more than 73%. And most of all, it is the using of energy for industry, for transport, for cities. But also there is a problem with agriculture. So in this case, why it is exactly this sector and what we can do to reduce the energy using. Why it became a problem only now. If we look on the picture, we see that the energy consumption is really growing up just from the second part of the last century. And in the same time, all of us, we know that industrialization began in the end of 18th, beginning of 19th century. In the same time, we created the first cars, the heating systems, the lighting systems. So what is the problem and why it is exactly now? In fact, it is a result of very different but deeply interconnected processes. It is, for example, improvement in technology raised the productivity of enterprises. Economic growth transformed the economy, and more people can get access to the goods, services, and education. And improvement in living standards increase the size of population. And this process is also very well known. And climate changes, actually, some people say that it is in fact linked to the population growth also. So in this case, according to the United Nations predictions, our population could reach more than about 10 billion people by 2050. And is it the end of our world, or what we can do with this? In any case, we cannot kill the population. So will our planet be sustainable for all these people and for all this population? In fact, all the scientists agree that actual knowledge is not enough to predict will it be sustainable or not, but everybody is agree. And I will give the citation of Mahatma Gandhi: the world have enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. So what is clear for everybody is that we have to change, first of all, not the size of population, but the way of living of population. We have to explain to the people that they have to be responsible for consumption, for using the goods, etc. There are some contradictions, in fact. There are some contradictions between successful business, for example, and responsible business. As we know, the aim of any business is to get some benefits, some money. Then, while to lose money for environmental protection or for ecology or for any new technologies that will help to the population, etc. And in the case with business, only political decision of different countries can help, or maybe economic, some economic motivation for business, for example, some additional grants or different system of taxation or something like this. But also there is some contradiction between comfortable life of the people and responsible life of the people. It means that all of us, we like to be comfortable, we like to buy new goods, we like new cars, new smartphones, etc. And nobody really thinks that I can use this smartphone during more 5-10 years because it is working. I will buy the new one because it is more modern. And in this case, in the case with the people, it is not the law, not the political decision, but only education. And education from the very childhood. So education by family in the beginning, education by school in the middle, and education by higher education in the end, that can change something. It is why I am going to speak today about education. And I will give very unexpected, probably, example for everybody. As I was speaking about St. Petersburg, it is a unique city also about its history. And so a little bit more than 70 years ago, actually, during the Second World War, Leningrad in those times, so St. Petersburg now, was in the blockade. And during this time, the norm of food per day for civil population was 125 grams of bread a day and nothing other. No heating, no water, no any other resources, -30 degrees during the winter. During this period of time, it was 900 days. During this period of time, half of population of the city was died. Some part of population were evacuated. 97% of people died during the blockade. It was of hunger. And my parents, for example, were living in this period of time. They were kids, they were living in the city, and they spent in the city more than half of these 900 days. And why I'm speaking about this, because in St. Petersburg, I think everybody, all the families lost somebody in this period of time. And everybody from the childhood, from the first day of the life, heard from the parents, from the friends, from the grandparents, that we have to respect all the resources. We never throw out the bread. We never throw out any food. Maybe it is a little bit unique situation in the city, but I really don't know any family in St. Petersburg who don't respect these rules. And it doesn't mean that for education, we need this kind of experience. But what I wanted to say is that for the children, the experience of grandparents is very important. If we speak about the past, all of us, we are the product of Soviet Union also. And so Soviet Union, it was economy not for the benefits, but for everybody. And also our parents were educated by this country, and it became the habits, and some of traditions we keep till now. For example, all the waste papers were recycled, and our students do it till now. Every year, several times per year, they collect the waste paper, especially in the offices, there are a lot. But more than this, for example, all the milk products were in the same bottles. So we did not recycle the bottles, we reused the bottles. When you buy the milk, when you bought the milk, you can give the bottle back and get money for this, and it will be reused one more time. Today, the situation is very different. Today, we are speaking about sustainable development, but some traditions, some good traditions were lost, and now this tradition seems very new, but it is not very new. I will not speak about all the goals, but just will come back to not come back, but continue with the education. So the education from the childhood, it is by the example of our parents, and after also by schools, so secondary education. And for the sustainable development goals, one of the most important, at least on my opinion, goals, it is quality of education, and this quality of education is for everybody without exception. So access to education have to be increased, quality of education have to be increased, and the education during through lifelong learning gives the new opportunities for everybody. Then I will maybe use the example of my university if you are not against, because it is the closest to me. So I am from St. Petersburg, from Peter the Great, St. Petersburg Polytechnic University. It is one of the biggest, one of the oldest, and in any case, leading technical university in Russia. We have 35,000 of students in total. We are very international. We have more than 8,000 international students. We have more than 400 educational programs, and from these programs, more than 100 of them are international programs in English. University take part in a lot of different international rankings, and we are very proud that in 2020, we got 37th place in the ranking about university impact, and it is exactly the ranking of impact of the university in sustainable development. I will not speak today about the research work, even if our university have a long list of research activities for sustainable development in energy efficiency, in alternative clean energy, in water cleaning. University created first for industry, first electric car, fully electric car, but each of these projects can be the subject of one separate workshop. Coming back to the education, university included in its strategy the inclusion of sustainable development competences in all the educational programs in the university. And on the picture, you see the numbers of students that are studying in different field of study of the university, more than 400 programs, and which competences, mostly hard competences, in the field of sustainable development are included in the programs. Just to give some examples, I will not speak about all the programs, it is just not possible, but we'll give some examples as we are on the meeting in the frame of BEC project. BEC project is an international Erasmus Plus project. So as international projects allow us to use only our knowledge, experience, etc., but also some resources, some knowledge, some experience of our partners. And it is why I will give some examples of our programs that were developed only in, or mostly, in the frame of international projects under the program Erasmus+. So, for example, in education for sustainable development, very important role we can give to the urban development, the development of the smart cities, etc. And as examples of main educational programs, I can give at least two programs. It is energy efficient and sustainable building. The program was fully developed under the international Erasmus Plus project. And the second one, environmental engineering in urban construction. This program was developed not really in the frame of the project, but with a big support of the project. For the other field of study in economic and management, also under two different Erasmus Plus project were developed the educational master program Green Logistics. And now we are developing the new program. It will be normally opened in the next year, Waste Management. It is also the team of partners who are working together during 10 years actually, and who are developing some new products, new programs all together. And these programs are very, very successfully. Why I'm speaking about Erasmus Plus projects, as Rangika said, it is, I think, the new possibility for all the university all over the planet. Because sometimes when we see that we need some program, we don't really know how to begin. And in this case, one of the very good option is to find some partners who are more experienced in this work or in this field of study, and to propose to them to apply together the program to get some financial support to the common work and to the development of the programs or modules or whatever. And for the moment, for example, Russian Federation can, because of some political issue, can be only the project partner in this kind of projects. But Sri Lanka and as far as I know, even Bangladesh, I think that all of you can apply this kind of project. You can initiate this kind of project. You can coordinate this kind of project, and it is much better than only to be a partner. So I just wish you some, I don't know, some curiosity. If you want, we can help you to find the project. But if you have any, in fact, good ideas in the development of educational program, you can always try to find the support of Europe Commission to do it together with different universities. These programs were about the main educational programs, but every time all the university are speaking about the interdisciplinary education. So interdisciplinary education is organized mostly by short-term programs. And as example, I can give an activity of our university, and most of our partners are doing it also. It is programs like summer schools. It is holidays of students when they can study something new, something different. And of course, our university providing also summer school courses. It is more than 45 courses. We have the biggest actually summer school in Russia with more than 1,000 students. And even when it was switched online, we got more than 500 students during the summer. And this summer we organize it in the mixed mode. Some students can come, but some stay online. And also for interdisciplinary knowledge or education, very important online education. I don't know if it increase or decrease the quality of education, but in any way, online courses increase the access to the education, access to the quality education of the best university of the world. And also here there are two examples only of Erasmus Plus project. First of them, of course, it is BEC project, because all of us, we are here because of BEC project. St. Petersburg Polytechnic University developed two modules under this project for ECTS, each of them. Both of them will be published, will be included in the master programs and will be accessible also for all over the world, because they will be published on the Coursera platform. It is an international educational platform of online education. And the second example of online education development, it is another parallel project, 𝓤𝓰. It is also Erasmus project that create cooperative e-learning platform for higher education in cooperation with industrial innovations. And this platform teaches the students not only theoretical knowledge about energy efficiency, innovation, business planning, etc., but also this platform allows to take a contact with industrial enterprises and to develop some joint projects with them. But when we speak about the hard skills, so professional education, main program, short-time program, every time we speak about the competences and knowledge that allow us to be professional specialists. But today, I think, and not only me, I think, it is really not enough. And in 2017, UNESCO published the document, Education for Sustainable Development. In this document lists not only professional competences, but some key competences needed for everybody for achieving the sustainable development goals. And if you look on the list, it is the competences that are soft skills. It means that it is system thinking, it is critical thinking, it is personal competences and interpersonal competences, etc., etc. It is a competences that give to our graduates not only the possibility to be high qualified specialists, but also to become engaged in promoting the transformation that are needed today for our society. So how to develop this kind of competences, it is fully another question, and it is surely not in the frame of the basic educational activity of the university. Today, all the world are discussing, not only today, but even yesterday, is that in our time when the information is in our computer, in our smartphone, the style of education is changing. So we cannot look on the education like before when the professor gives the lectures and everybody is happy. Actually, we say that education passed to another style, and actually the education have to be students oriented. Before it was professor oriented. So before professor decided what he have to give to the students to make the education of high quality. Today, the students deciding what they need to be a high qualified specialist. And so very often soft competences begin to be more important even than professional competences, because professional competences, some additional competences you can find. When I was studying, I got a professor who said that the good engineer, it is not the one who know everything, every standards in the memory. It is the one who can find and systemize the good information in the good time and to take a good decision. And so our university, for example, and a lot of our partner universities decide this kind of project, this kind of educational aim, so the development of soft competences by the interdisciplinarity and the development of soft skills in the frame of project-oriented work of students. So the professors, the role of professors is to accompany our students in their own project. And our university now begin from the very beginning. All undergraduate students study the course project management on the second study year of the university. And the aim of this course that the students create some new projects in interdisciplinary teams. So it is the students not from one specialty, but from several specialties. And they have 6 months for the development. And after they present this project for the commission and also for the industrial enterprises or for whomever they did it. On the master level, we have International Center Politics Țăṛ that develops the entrepreneurial culture among all the students and give them some business skill, leadership quality, team working quality, etc., etc. Last year, university opened the Boiling Points. Boiling Points, it is a co-working space for students where they can work together to develop something together. We have also Fab Lab. Fab Lab, it means the laboratory, in fact, where students can not only develop something, but also to create something, but by their own hands. One more time, in all this, there is Erasmus Plus project, in the frame of which we created the new online module for all the students of all the specialty. that develop also some entrepreneurial competencies for the students of technical specialties. And one of the very successful, in our opinion, project, it is International Project-Oriented Education Project, Students Project Marathon, that is done in the same way. The students are doing some projects, but this time in international teams. From another side, the university developed some activities for students to push them to be active in this society. It is ecological festival, it is a competition of projects one more time, and some of our students became really active. For example, we have student organization 𝓷𝓸𝓸𝓀 that actually is working with all the world, I think, because actually all the universities, for example, in Europe, developed some kind of students centers that called usually green office. And there is a website where you can find students from any country who are working in the green office, who will be interested to develop some joint activity, some joint projects, and even can find some financing in the different national programs. Why I tell about all these kind of things and why it is so important for our students to have not only hard competences, some professional knowledge, etc. I think that our students need not only the technical ideas and level of education, they need some system thinking. If they are working in big company and they have to find, for example, some engineering decisions. It can be like examples, solar panels in the cities. If you see 3 pictures on here, it is nice pictures, but when we begin to speak about industrial level, the pictures begin to be less beautiful. And if the student is able to take a good decision, he will understand that, in fact, it is not very human to do this kind of desert territory, even if it is for the good reason as for the clean energy. In the same time, the students have to be innovative, but if you found some innovation, you cannot really introduce it if you don't have some personal skills, some habits to present your ideas, some habits to work in the team and to get together some results. On the picture, on the slide, you have some innovative ideas that can maybe help us not to get the field of the solar panels, like, for example, the road with embedded solar panels, or some energy production by riding the bicycle, by doing the gym in the fitness center, or just some possibility to produce, to product the energy by foods, by steps of people. And about the active position and entrepreneurial skills, I want to give a small example from the personal life. It is example of one man who in 2004 was studying together with me in the program of management. And in the time, he was just a young man who was interested in ecology and worry about the vast on the lakes, etc., etc. And so in the beginning of the history, it is 2004, when he went just on the weekend with some friends to the lake. And when he came to the lake, he understood that it is not possible to get the rest in this territory because there are a lot of vast. So together with the friends, they collected all the vast on the lake. And after, he decided to do it on regular basis. And he was successful to find some people, some young people who helped to him. And after he decided that he had to do the business from this, so he entered on the educational program of management. In 2010, he did the registration of his organization as a regional organization. In 2011, this organization began to be inter-regional because some other regions joined this program. Today, this organization has a national level. They educated more than 12,000 people. They collected more than 71 tons of plastics. They collected more than 94 tons of waste. And in the beginning, it was just the weekend with the friends, but with the active position and with some competences to organize the people, to create a team, it can be the national and even international business. And to finish my presentation, I think I already was longer. I will give just some citation from the very famous people. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of minds to think. And on my opinion, it is the most important role of the university today to make our students able to think, to collect information, to systemize information, to take a good decision, and to lead the transformation for tomorrow. The next, it was Albert Einstein. The next citation, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And we hope that our students today will be able to change our world of tomorrow, also for us. It was Nelson Mandela. Life is if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. It is Mahatma Gandhi. And the very good proverb, Chinese proverb that I like a lot also, if you are planning for a year, sow the rice. If you are planning for the decade, plant some trees. If you are planning for the lifetime, educate the people. So it is the idea on which I would like to finish my presentation. And I think that all together we have to join our knowledge, our experience, to share our knowledge, experience, and best practice to educate our students and to give them not only knowledge, but also a lot of personal abilities. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alla. It was a very nice, touching presentation. Like the previous presenters, I think you also deserve a big congratulations, because I mean, from the start to the end, I was checking the numbers of attendees. I mean, the number is always picking up, not really going down. So that itself proved that we have selected the best possible presenters from all over the world, and the topics which you have selected for this particular the workshop are really timely and informative. So I mean, it's more than all. I was really I mean, I said it was really touching, because you started your presentation from the past, like from the Second World War, and you reminded the today community, especially the young generation, they have not experienced a real war. We can see some
good for them, maybe.
Not really. I mean, I always feel, I mean, unless you fail, you can't become successful. There's people, I feel sorry, because they have not really feel the real the sense of the ground of this world. So unless they do that, they will not be able to understand the real life. So that one way or the other, I think they should I never want to hope or pray to have another big World War, Third World War coming and destroying the entire world. But you should be able to mindful. You are really fortunate because you don't have such disasters in the world than these natural man-made disasters. I mean, man-made, not more than the man-made. The nature is really punishing you, and not the human. So when the humans started punishing, Allah told how that is affected the communities or the masses in Russia. So he was referring, that was really touching. You are referring this meal per day. That was, as far as I can remember, it was 125 grams of cake per day.
Not cake, but
the bread. Sorry.
bread.
Yes. I need to use the correct terminology. Yes, it's bread. So 125 grams of a bread for a person. Just imagine the life of a human at that particular time. So from there they started. They were doing really well. the St. Petersburg and the Russia altogether, it was they were picking really well. And I'm not really I'm not really expecting such in Sri Lanka, but I personally feel we have not yet felt the life, especially in Sri Lanka. We don't see the danger. We can't really understand where are we heading. So and always even Russia had the same experience. The professionals, the people who have the knowledge, people who have the experience, they got together and they built up the Russia again. Not the people who are with wealth and the power. The power came with the education. Power came with being together, coherence once again. So thank you very much, Alla, for that particular nice presentation, and the final coding, especially that alarms us, that really gave the real human sense at the end of the presentation. And well, another interesting statement which I picked from your presentation, that is about today the student select what they should learn, not the professor. But when we were studying, or even Sri Lanka, still I feel like that is not the case. Even though the world is changing, the education system is changing, not the content, but the way they teach is changing drastically. But unfortunately, we keep the same content, same way of teaching. Still, I feel in Sri Lanka, professors select what the student should learn, not the student have the option of selecting what they want to learn. And more than that, as another disaster in Sri Lanka. I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of other friends from other countries, especially Indonesia, Singapore, India, Bangladesh. There are a lot of people joined. I'm sorry, I'm picking examples from Sri Lanka, but very sure that is common in your countries, especially the Asian and South Asian countries. Not the professor sometimes. Sometimes the parents will decide what the kids should learn. So that's a real disaster in Sri Lanka and many developing countries, because everybody will be measured in one single yardstick, and those who pass that particular thing, they have a successful life, success in their life. But unfortunately, if they lose, if they miss, if they fail that particular yardstick, they will be categorized as failures. So there's no sort of lateral entries to go and climb the ladder. Let's say if anybody fails the GC O-level general, so the first level of exam, they have no other option than doing the ordinary labor job. So those who are passing the O-level, then they will go to the advanced level, then they go to the university, and from the university they graduate. Those who even miss the graduation, they are again at the same bottom level. So those who are, we select, we will get the cream of the cream, but we just ignore the failures. So that's another good thing we can learn from Russia, because you have that particular system. Students will be able to select what they are supposed to learn, what they are supposed to study, not the professors, not the university, not the parents. So you are free to do. The freedom is there, and you are getting the maximum of it. We can see that in figures of Russia. Well, like the other days, we are getting a lot of questions, and all the distinguished respected attendees, like the previous 2 days, we are going to open up the online questioning facility. You will be able to ask questions live. You you don't have to come and just type in Q&A. We will let you to talk. So that option is available. So give us a few minutes to get one or two good questions from the Q&A. Then after that, we will open up the discussion and have a live discussion, live dialogue, than me moderating the event. So I was yeah, one interesting thing. I'm sorry, I'm picking some so we have enough time today. You nicely timed the presentation. So another interesting thing, Alla, you were talking about this. Education is not really learning the facts. I noted down your points. It is not really learning the facts, but it is changing the mind. In my point of view, I always say education is not really acquiring the knowledge, but to do some sort of a mind change, mindset up, and you train your brain, you train your mind. So that is what education means. So in Sri Lanka, sometimes let's say even 5% of the ordinary level exam will be useful at the A level, and the A level, what we learn for A level, advanced level, only few will be used at the university, and whatever you study at the university, again only a small portion will be used at the field when you are practicing. So one can say, why are we wasting our time? You take that particular 5%, 5%, 5%, and we can create instant graduates. But that is not practical, because you need to have that particular brain training. That's how you can mold a real graduate, real human. So for that, the issue is, with this particular changes, how are we going to mesh the education system to give that particular brain training? So with that particular opening remark, I'm going to the Q&A session. Once again, thanks Alla for that particular nice, interesting presentation. So I'm moving to the questions which was sent to the Q&A. Then we will, anybody who wishes to raise a question directly from Alla, please raise your hands. We will allow you to talk. And when you are talking, please make sure your question is very short and sweet and to the point. So that will be easy for us to continue this particular dialogue. So this is not really a question, but it's a good comment. I think I should read this particular the comment than a question. I think she's a teacher. I'm not going to tell her name. As a teacher, educator, I'm highly interested in the news of funds for development of quality education as the service, as pre-service teacher training. So this is the scenario in many of us, because they don't know what are the opportunities available around us. I mean, this comment itself shows how much of knowledge gap between the world and these developing countries. There are a lot of funding available. There are a lot of grants available. Those are not really working as NGOs and INGOs. I was repeating this over and over. Many people, some people will think, okay, this is an INGO running with the international funding, and we are talking about education. No, that is not the real case. We are trying to get the funding from international granting organizations, especially the European Union, and there are a lot of other funding agencies in the world which can help to develop these education platforms, especially linking with these developed countries. So there are a lot of opportunities. My dear teacher who raised that particular point, there are a lot of opportunities, but I want Alla to talk on this particular point. Please, I mean, this is very much important. How a person can, go and search these possible options, and how they can get these or join with these international the granting possibilities and teacher training, and linking them to develop the educational platforms. Alla, I want that word from you.
First of all, in the program like Erasmus Plus program, it is a Europe program. You have a lot of possibilities. You have 3 key actions. These key actions provide the possibility to develop international mobility, to develop joint project, or develop some voluntary service. In each this key action of the program, there are different possibility to get a funding. All these possibilities are described very in detailed way in the program guide. And for example, for the capacity building project that can be concentrated on the teachers training and retraining, not only on educational program for students development, but also in training or retraining development the courses for teachers. The next application should be more or less should be published at least in October, and the deadline for the application should be February. In any case, if you have some needs, some ideas, what do you need, etc., the best way is to contact some partners. For example, why not me? I can give my email address or any other partner who know you, who are working with you, and to try to find together the opportunity to create a team Because in any case, to make the application, you have to show that you was working on this question. You have some information about the possibility of your project partners. And each project partners has an important role in the project and will help in the development of something. So the next application can be begin even in this year.
Thank you, Alla. So it's an open invitation to join with you, and I'm sure all the big partners are in this particular workshop series. They are willing to join with anybody who wants to join hand and really willing to do something. I mean, that is the most important fact. Not, I mean, they should have to have that particular will, not to go and get an international tour just to go and have a fun. No, that is not the idea. You should get the real sense of these grants. So anybody who are interested, who are really willing, having that particular will, as Alla stated, I mean, they are most welcome to join with the people who are working in these grants, and I'm very sure that will be a very good win-win situation for the country and as individuals. So there are a lot of questions, Alla, but before moving to the questions, I can see the 𝓷𝓸𝓻 is raising the hand, so we will allow him to talk. Then after that, we will go back to the questions. Let me ask him to allow him to talk. Yes, 𝓷𝓸𝓻, you can talk now. 𝓷𝓸𝓻, you can unmute your mic and
okay, Professor.
sorry.
Yeah,
Hi.
actually, I and my son, we are in the same device, right? So that, right, being a teacher, educator, working in the field of education more than 26 years, we understand that the quality of the teachers should be developed, right? We being a teacher, educators, we ourselves do not get training since 2009. We did not get any kind of a training. So we are trying with the government with GEM projects, but we have been writing good proposals. So far, our knowledge hasn't been updated. So there, we would like to apply for grants with good proposals to get our teachers trained.
Thanks. It's more a comment than a question. Yes, I mean the options is available. I mean, I know this the country situation, and I know how these educational systems are running in the country. But it's really unfortunate. You need to have the continuous teacher training if you are to deliver something good. But unfortunately, as I told you at the very beginning, I'm reiterating the same point. We have the same content. I'm not really complaining about the content, but that is all about the delivering mechanisms. World is changing, not the content again, the way they teach, where they deliver. So that's why Alla said, from the professor to the student, now it has changed, and the student is picking what they want to learn, not the professor is feeding what the professor wants to teach. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. May I just say some words also?
Yes, sure. Yeah, you're most welcome.
So in fact, for the retraining of the teachers in the country, I think it is more the question to Rangika, like representatives of the ministry, because in Russia, for example, there is obligation of retraining of the teachers every 3 years for each teacher without exception. From the side of the Europe possibility and Europe community grants, the most easy to obtain, it is a financing for the Erasmus Plus mobility. And for retraining things, I really will recommend this kind of grant. If you work with some Europe university, or even if you don't, you just write on the paper the aim, what you want to study and which kind of courses or trainings you would like. And after to contact some Europe universities, they are applying for the mobility for the professors, for example. For students, it is from 3 months till 1 semester. But for professors, it is 1 week mobility, and 1 week it is the real training. If you arrive in the country, you see how the teachers are working. You see how the teachers are communicating with students. all the educational process. You communicate with your colleagues. You can maybe find together some new ideas. And this kind of grant is really not the big work. It is application that is done by Europe universities. It is enough easy, enough common about all the universities are doing this. So you have just give the information which kind of trainings you need and which kind of information and maybe in which field of study you would like to see to study, to train yourself and your colleagues.
See
I
the
hope that I
opportunities
answered.
worldwide. Yeah, Alla, yeah, please continue.
No, I think it was the main idea.
Thanks. It was. I mean, see the opportunities around the world. I mean, unfortunately, we don't know them, and we missed the chance because we are not aware of these opportunities all over the world. Well, that particular the comment from you and the comment received from the attendees led to another interesting question. I'm sorry to not to take the Q&A the questions from the Q&A session, but I think this particular question is really valid. Not a comment. I really want to share your experience with the attendees who are with us today. If I tell you the Sri Lankan academic and the university, especially university and the school system, you may wonder, you may really shocked to hear this. I'm very sure this is not really, this is nowhere in the world, but I will tell you what it is. Let's say a teacher or a lecturer absorbed to the education system, they will be working, whether they work or not, they will get the salary until their retirement, and once they retire, they will get their retirement as well. So that is the situation in Sri Lanka. So
you are very lucky.
Sorry.
You are very lucky because our
that is exactly I wanted to get to know from
our
you.
University and all the leading university of Russia. In fact, in Europe, it is the same situation like in Sri Lanka. Once you became a professor, it is for all over the life, and with a guarantee of the salary, and you cannot be pushed out from the university. In our university, it is effective contract. Effective contract, it means that it is a contract for most of professors for 1 year with a lot of conditions. During 1 year, you have to publish, and you have to publish in serious editions. You have to, if you are professor, you have to get some diploma students, some PhD students, some research activities, etc., etc., etc. And the best professors, the maximum term of contract will be 3 years. So our professors cannot be lazy; they have to work. If not, they lose the places. And if the university has a free place, it is normally published, and any professor from any university can pretend to take this place. And as Polytechnic University is one of the leading universities, the salary is better, the conditions are better, so our professors make a lot of attention.
Our maximum contract period untouched is sometimes even more than 35 years. So it's really amazing when you compare your 3-year term with 35 years. I mean, yeah, no words to say. Well, again, I'm not going to touch the list of questions because there's another person who raised their hands. Ravi, he was very active from the start of this particular workshop. So I will allow Ravi to directly ask his question from Alla. Ravi, you can yeah, yes. Yeah, Ravi.
Yes, Alla, I have a lot of questions. I have a same concern about that Ранgiga said. I recently recruited as a lecturer in the University of Jaffna. But I have a professional experience in disaster management and climate change in the last 20 years. But the thing is, what I asking that I found that a lot of issues why this happen in the university as well as the graduates. There are what you have mentioned in the soft skill. Soft skill, not only the what you call for the theoretical base, but you saw that some presentation and some practice in what you have done. So do you have any potential, or do you have any opportunity to given some what you call what do you call, given mean some modules or some what do you call, some practical module to us to train the our graduates improve their soft skill. Soft skill mean or employability skill or graduate attitudes for the changing attitudes and as a powerful tool for the change the world. Do you have any? I asked that three things. One is the soft skill. Other one is that employability skill. How can we practically? We have trained them, but the problem is we have trained them as a theoretical. What is the soft skill? How many soft skill they are? So, but we want to do that with the learning and teaching. We want to combine those things. That is why asking any methodology or any modules you have, please.
Thank you for the question. You know, when you say module, we come back to the beginning. By the module, you cannot develop soft skills because it is a module. And the module, the students are going to study himself. One more time, professor who gives some information through the online education, through the offline education. In any case, it is a professor who are transmitting the knowledge. From another side, our university, I show it, but you know, when you do the presentation for half an hour or 45 minutes about the university, like my one, each slide can be one workshop practically. So we have the great experience of work internationally with the students. It is International Students Project Marathon. And I can invite you, your graduates, your students for cooperation. Or in fact, if there are other teachers, we are inviting everybody. The idea is very easy. We have the meeting, we organize a meeting of professors of both university. We find some thematics that are interesting for the professors or PhD students of both universities. After we are inviting students to participate in international projects in the international team. So for example, 2 students from your university are working with 2 students, so 5, I don't know the number, from our university all together to develop some project idea, to develop some project results. And they are supported from both sides by both professors because the thematic was great from the beginning. This kind of experience, for example, of work with Graz University, give us during the only first year 5 project teams, 5 publications in very good journals in the end of the year, and 5 applications for scientific research grants. So if you want, we think that it is quite good result. Of course, it will be maybe not the same result with all the university, but in any case, it gives great experience for students. They are working not only nationally, but internationally. They know the standards of education of other countries. In most of the case, before COVID, and we hope after COVID, we organize it as blended mobility. It means that we organize a meeting of students in the beginning, at least to find their teams. And after they are working during semester or 2 semesters and depend on the project in online. And in the end, they participate in joint conferences or in the frame of different conferences. They present their results and they find out the plan of further cooperation. So really, you are very welcome if you are interested to participate in this kind of activity.
Yeah, thanks. And then just to add some points to what Alla was talking, Ravi. Actually, if you really, I mean, if you or any of your students from Jaffna, Alla Jaffna University is Jaffna is at the northern most end of Sri Lanka. So that is where the Jaffna University says. So Ravi is from that particular university. So nice to hear that we got people from Jaffna University as well. Ravi, if you really want to study and improve the soft skills, or rather your students want to improve their soft skills, there are a lot of online platforms, online courses where you can follow. And I mean, there are a lot of, especially due thanks to COVID, I can see there are a lot of online MOOC level platforms, and also even individual assignments and assignment based courses are there in online now. So the opportunities are there. So the knowledge is there, as Alla stated, it's there in the phone now. So you can just click and in your fingertip, you will be able to get down all this information. So
I
that's the
can
beauty
even
of this.
I can even send the link on the MOOCs that are developed by our university or our colleagues that are to develop entrepreneurial skills, management skills, teach the students how to manage the innovations, etc., etc. There are a lot of courses that are in English, and if the students are interested, they can follow. In fact, the courses on Coursera, for example, they are free, and only certification have to be paid.
And we can hint what we are going to plan after this. Yeah, anybody who wants to study in this particular area, and we are hoping to do some sort of a short course, online sort of a course. We are planning, and we will let you know. We will pass the message as soon as possible once we done once we finish this organization and arrangements. So I hope we'll be able to do that together as a team. So it is going to happen. Well, going back to the questions once again, thanks Ravi for asking that valuable question. So I'm going to the Q&A session, Alla. We have only a few minutes, but still I'm trying to get few more questions. Everybody talking about this online education, because online education is a real mess in Sri Lanka these days. I got to know from one big partner, yeah, that is 𝓷𝓸𝓻𝓿. I mean, we all know who is 𝓷𝓷𝓸𝓻. He's from Colombo University, and I got to know students are forced to, or rather the lecturers are forced to deliver the same content online from 8:30 to 5:30. So I don't know where we are really heading. So I think we have to have a strong backbone to safeguard the education system. So because of that, I'm asking this particular question from you, Alla. The question is, how can we assess the applied digital skills and the soft skills through online examination during the COVID-19 pandemic semesters? I mean, we have this online education in COVID situation, but I know you have these online examinations and the assessments for many years. So I think you can share your experiences, Alla.
So in Russia, all the leading universities began to work on the online education development from 2016. So in 2019 and 20, the very big national platform of education, online education, the name is Open Education, was fully working, and all the universities selected to take part in the development of this platform. So all the leading universities of Russia provided some courses on it. Our university, for example, was using during the pandemic situation. We were closed only one semester, we are lucky. But in any case, our professors were using the courses of Moscow State University, Tomsk University, wherever. And the students, they did not need to stay behind the screen during all the day, but they had to manage their time, because the courses have some duration and some testing, and the students can do it even by night, but in any case, they have some deadlines during the courses. And to check that it is really our students who is going to pass the exams, the tests, and etc., our university developed, we have the resource center of online education that is working for all the region of Russia. And our university developed some methodology of proctoring system. It means that the system make comparison between photo in your documents, for example, passport or record books of students or whatever, and your face. And the system is checking during the examination, for example, if it is written examination, your mimics, how you are reacting, where you are looking, what you are doing, etc., etc. Because our students are quite clever, and when they have to speak in English, for example, we already meet the situations. The person who are behind the screen, he is just opening the mouth, and another person, he is from the other side of the screen, is speaking. And so teacher can see it or cannot see it, but automatic system surely will recognize the difference between needed mimic and real mimic.
Thanks.
But there are a lot of this kind of technology. Actually, there are some free technologies. There are some international systems who provided. Some university are providing their own system, etc. But it is like, you know, the written work of students. I don't know if you do it or not. Actually, the information is really in smartphones. So most of the students to make, for example, I don't know, the essay report or something like this, they just make a copy paste. So our university has always electronic version of the document, and we have a software that is checking that plagiat is not more than 30% of the work. If it is more, the work is not accepted. And it is also automatic checking. So there are a lot of equipment to check that the students are really studying.
Thanks, Alla. There's another question. I don't know whether you'll be able to answer this particular question. The question is about this industrial training. I mean, those are the issues we are facing in Sri Lanka. I'm very sure this particular question is again from Sri Lanka. So, I mean, you have the engineering background, and you know it's more into technical, and you need to have the hand-on experience if you are to get the training. So, how did you ensure this proper delivery in industrial training? Do you have any experience such in your university?
In our, you mean real industrial training or the industrial training in the period of pandemic isolation?
Yeah, in fact, pandemic isolation. That is, I think, that is what this attendee was talking.
Because in fact, I cannot really answer on this question. In our situation in Russia, we were closed only during one semester. So the students really passed their practical work, etc. Just the curriculum, the dates were changed, and it's all. So we did not change the curriculum for this. But in the same time, we have a problem with industrial placement for international students who are studying in international programs, because the students are not Russian speaking. And so most of industrial enterprises are not agree to make additional efforts and to invite some foreigners to speak with them in English. It is working time. Normally the engineers, they have not really half of the day to work with the students, etc., etc. And so here really we have the experience to organize online industrial training with foreign companies. And it is also project-oriented work. It means that the company gives some information, provides some tasks or ideas to the students, and students individually or by group have to find the decision using just online support of some representative of these industrial enterprises who provide additional information. So it is case study, it is project work, it is this kind of things.
Thanks a lot. I mean, as you said, you closed down your universities, especially the education in the country, for one semester only. Not all your professors, even the invited professors, has to work online.
But it is only our university. But you know, our professors are really not happy.
No, I said not only your professors in your university, even the invited professors has to work online.
Yes, and you have some experience because you are invited professor of our university. But if not, our professors here are not happy because the university is open, and so the professors have to give the lectures on site, so in the rooms, in the classes. But in the same time, 8,000 foreign students, half of them cannot enter in the country because the borders are closed. So the same professor have to provide also online education additionally for all the international students. And half of our professors joking that the university have to pay a double salary, but the university don't do it. So sometimes it is a little bit a problem.
It's a COVID punishment at the end of the day. Well, there's another interesting question again, Alla. They want to know about the Russian practice. this is about the self-education. How can we encourage students to do self-education? I think you have that particular experience in your university, and personally you have that particular experience with you, Alla. How can we ensure, how can you encourage people to do, or other students to do self-studying? What is the practice in Russia and in our other St. Petersburg University?
We are agree that students are very lazy and mostly passive, so they don't really interested. We even try to analyze, during the epidemic of COVID, a lot of university international educational platforms, etc., even the university like Oxford or some Stanford that are well known everywhere, they opened online education for free for everybody. And we tried to check how many students used this opportunity, because it is quite good. In fact, about 5% of all the students' population, so it is a real problem. But during the study, in any case, our curricula include 3 types of activity. It is lectures, it is practical work, different type of laboratories, seminars, and it is self-education. So the self-education is included in the curricula, and it means if the professors are giving, for example, 30 hours of lectures and 15 hours of practical work, he will give also the amount of work enough for example, 15 more hours for self-education. And in any case, students will need to do it because it will be checked, it will be evaluated. The professors give the notes. It can be, for example, small research and small presentation on some thematic. It can be some additional activity of students for interdisciplinary project. It can be very different type of activities, but in any case, self-education is included in the program. So it is included also in the exams. The students have no choice, in fact, finally.
Well, from the education we are going to sustainability. That's the question about your university. But before that, I can recall a fact. I mean, you're greatly talking about the sustainability and being green and being sustainable as a country, as a university. But yesterday was 𝓚𝓷𝓸𝓀𝓚, and she was presenting how the different countries contributing to the greenhouse gas emission. And the China was the best. I mean, as always, they are climbing the ladder. They don't worry about anybody. They just do whatever they want. It's a different story. And luckily, I saw the UK is going down, and they had a decline curve. How much you say about your country saying you're sustainable and you're moving to sustainability? I still can't say. According to 𝓚𝓸𝓸𝓀𝓚, I'm claiming her what she presented yesterday, it's going up. Any comment?
We take part in.
I know it's political, but I mean, if you
I
feel
can
like
repeat like 𝓚𝓸𝓀𝓚. I don't really want to enter in the policy, but in any case, Russia officially took part and signed the Paris Agreement. So on the national level, we have some promises that we will reduce, increase, etc., to be sustainable. But also there is another thing. There is the big business, international business that is working in the country, and this business gives a lot of good examples. And very often it is really examples of these big enterprises. Even McDonald's, their publicity now, we are using recyclable materials, so we help to the children to get medical help or whatever. So finally, it enters in the head of everybody that there is some problem because everybody is speaking about this problem. But in the same time, I will repeat so on the national level, we take part in all the international agreements. As you see, our university, for example, is reporting every year about sustainable development activities. The report is published every year. We are participating in also international rankings, etc. And the country try to be international in any case on the level of the horizontal links, not on the political level sometimes. But from the other side, you know, China, it is, I think, exceptional case because when Europe says that, okay, we will be carbon neutral, of course, because in Europe there are no more industry, so they can. All the industry today, is concentrated in China, in India, in Bangladesh, in some other countries, poor countries usually, because the cost of the workers are low. The China is changing.
Those industries are owned by the developed countries, people in the developed countries. So finally, even though the country says it is carbon neutral, but if you add them together, it is not really neutral.
So it is paradise in Europe because there are no more industry. In Russia, there are a lot of industry. So we will not, I think we will never become, I hope, in fact, that we will never become neutral about carbon. And there is another reason that we are not really worried about this. We have all these resources, you know, and there are a lot of international scandals about it. Europe wants to be independent of these raw materials, but Russia has these raw materials, so we are independent on it. And of course, there are a lot of reforming of industry, innovation of industry, a lot of laws that we have to treat vast water, energy, etc., but we are less concentrated on this than Europe, for example. And about China, they are exceptional because from one side, they have, I think, about 80% of industry for everybody. If tomorrow they will stop to export, everybody will just die. And from another side, finally, the production, the development of industry, etc., increase the level of life in China and the budget of the state so much that actually they can use the money wherever they want. And so ecological situation in overpopulated country is the problem. So of course they put really incredible budgets in the development of energy efficiency, alternative energy, etc. So it is exception. It cannot be applied for other regions, I think.
That's true. That's true. But even now, I think there's an important meeting happening in the world between your president and the US president. I think it's happening, or I don't know whether that is over by now, but that may be directing towards a sustainable world at the end of the day. We are just passing the stipulated time which we planned at the beginning, but I should not avoid this particular question. Let me ask my last the question from you, Alla. You claim your university as a sustainable university. How can you define it? How can, let's say, another university in the world, if they really want to call them as a sustainable university, how they can achieve that particular target? Yeah, Alla.
I really think that it is the work of the team and first of all of the university administration. It is the work of the team because somebody have to initiate this kind of things. We, as administration, I cannot initiate all the institutes, 2,000 professors of the university to think about sustainable development. But in any case, if we say today that we are providing the high quality education, we cannot avoid this kind of questions. We have to speak about some problems of sustainable development, even for each application of scientific research grant or any educational grant or whatever. And it will be the case till 2030, after probably we will have some other strategy of development. And in any case, so if we are up to date, if we pretend to be leading university, we have to speak about it. And if we would like to develop our university and to make it higher and increase the quality of education, we have to initiate the development of some competences both for students and for professors. And maybe it is better to begin by professors, because after they will transmit this knowledge to their students.
Thanks, Alla. It's really valuable discussion. I don't want to load you and the attendees. We have already passed the time. So once again, thank you very much. That was really informative, like the last 4 days. So we are coming to the end of the 5th day, and the tomorrow will be the big boss. Alla. We are going to get Arthurus, and he's going to talk about Industry 5.0, customization technologies for climate change, energy conservation, and sustainable design. So we are going to get our big boss tomorrow. So we'll see how he's going to tackle the last day of this particular workshop. So with that note, let me conclude today's session while thanking Alla for your wonderful presentation, and also keeping the audience alive throughout the session. And once again, all the attendees, thank you very much for being with us and keeping the trust with us. Tomorrow will be the last day, so I hope you all will attend tomorrow's event as well. And once again, if you want to pass this particular information to among your colleagues and known contacts, please please share this particular link with them, and they will get a chance to join with this particular wonderful workshop. So with that particular note, once again, thanks Alla for being with us. And
just if I can, the last word. First of all, I really invite everybody for cooperation, and you can give my email to any colleague who are interested in this kind of cooperation. And secondly, I would like to thank you personally and all your team, all the back team of University of Murat Uma for organization of this great workshop. I hope that it is not the last one. And I hope to see all of you very soon in St. Petersburg in the frame of BEC project, and to develop some others. Thank you.
Thanks, Alla. Already your email is circulated, so there will be a lot of emails you are going to get from Sri Lanka and other countries. So very humble. I mean, you're so humble, and I respect that particular humanity. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Good night.
Have a nice night already. Thank you.